Boy, can I help you?
Listen up. I'm bringing you the best content to ever exist in the door-to-door industry, from sales, leadership, recruiting, and personal development.
Why would I need that?
Because never before have we been able to collaborate with the top experts in their industries, sharing their secrets and techniques on what makes them the best.
Wait, who are you?
I'm your host, Sam Taggart, creator of the DDD Experts and DDD Con. Is there a place we can sit down?
Well, come on in.
We are excited to announce Jordan Belfort, the real Wolf of Wall Street, at D2DCon 2019, January 10th through 12th in Salt Lake City. Register today at d2dcon.com. Come as a team, learn as a team, leave as a team.
Hi, my name's Sam Taggart, and I'm your host of the DDD Podcast, and I'm here with Garen Armstrong. He's the CEO of Shamrock Roofing and Construction, and he's also RoboCop, meaning he literally lives off batteries, which makes his story kind of unique. He's been on multiple news channels, multiple stories around a couple of things that make him really unique and different, and that's why I'm excited to have him on the show. He's got literally a left ventricle heart pump device thing. Yes,
it squeezes my heart for me, so I have no pulse or no heartbeat. I live off batteries.
Yeah, so he's living on batteries in the sense he shouldn't be alive, but they miraculously put this thing in his body to keep him pumping blood. You know, I see him hooked up to all this cool stuff, and yet he is still running a very profitable, awesome roofing company here in Kansas City. So we're actually live here, sitting in a hotel room. This is amazing, and I appreciate you coming all the way up here just to kind of jam in the hotel room. So.
Well, Sam, I appreciate you having me. I love what you're doing in this space and knocking, and so it's door to door. So
tell me. Oh, and then I'm going to put one more plug in there. He also started a foundation.
Yes.
Is that what you would call it? Foundation.
It's a foundation
called Roof for Heroes.
Roof for Heroes.
And we'll kind of dive into that for a minute. Which I assume, a lot of you guys listening are probably going, oh, like, makes sense, Roof for Heroes. So we'll kind of go in. So today real quick, we'll talk about, one, this whole holy cause of how do you start a foundation? How do you keep motivated even though you've got a freaking heart pump in your body? And how do you've got 3 kids. Like, there's a lot of things against you, yet you're still out making it happen, and we're going to kind of talk through that, and then we're going to talk on the sales process. You know what I mean? Like how to sell roofs, how to be a better roof sales guru, which I think a lot of people they like the nuts and bolts, the I do A plus B equals more money. That's what I want, right? Correct. So we're going to dive into some of that stuff and hopefully give some good pointers.
Sure.
So tell me, I guess my first question would be, tell me a little bit about this whole RoboCop battery heart thing.
So it's only been out for less than 10 years, saved vice president's life. So after that, they put FDA said immediately approved it, and they said, okay, here you go. So what happens is they go open you up, break 4 ribs, attach it to your heart, and then you're living off batteries. Each battery lasts about 8 hours. So you're kind of like, RoboCop. So it's sitting there pumping blood through me, which I would have otherwise died 5 years ago or so. I've died. So that's when you're laying there on the operating table and you're thinking about, I have 3 kids, 8, 11, and 13. What's going to happen from this? And so now I have this device in me while I'm waiting for a new heart. I'm 1B, which means if they call me, I got to be down to the hospital in 4 hours to get a heart transplant. That all just happened out of nowhere. An airborne virus that attacked the sac of my heart, and they can't explain where or how or I got it. So it just been strong roofing up and down ladders all my life, and for something to come out of nowhere and blindside you like this. It's emotional, and it leaves you wondering with a lot of questions.
Well, I'm sure that's a wake me up in a sense. It's like you're not the kid growing up saying, well, one day I'm gonna have, you know what I mean? You probably were healthy, doing your thing.
40 years old. I mean, you know, I didn't make a bucket list. I didn't, you know, I'm like, what am I? I'm dying. You know, no way. I'm not gonna quit. You know, and then, you know, you think, well, what can I do? Well, yeah, I can go sit on the beach and rot. You know, or I'm gonna get a new heart. It's gonna be healthy. You know, God's got this, and I'm gonna survive.
That's cool. So you said the batteries last you 8 hours?
8 hours.
That's like my cell phone, and I and maybe some people can relate to this. I get high anxiety when my battery life shows me less than 15% because I'm like, oh my gosh, like nobody will be able to get a hold of me, and I won't be able to do this and this. What do you feel when your battery's at 15% and it's like connected to your heart?
So it starts beeping, and I'm in traffic, and because it says you got 10 minutes, and when it's done, you're done.
That is. Man, that's more than. Now I'm not stressing on my cell phone anymore, dude. Like that just like told. I'm like, wait a minute, this could be my heart.
Yeah, so I'm driving another sales guy around. We're together, and all of a sudden it's beeping, and he's freaking out. I'm freaking out, you know, because the battery's low. You got to hurry up and change your batteries out. Pulling over the side of the road, switching out batteries because you got to carry spare batteries around just in case you're stuck in traffic. And so now you got to worry about am I going to fall out while I'm driving or something if the batteries go bad. But yeah, it's for the most part the technology is amazing, and so I'm just lucky to be alive and lucky to be here.
That is so cool. Well, what a blessing. I mean, technology. It's like we were talking because we were just talking about Amish people out here in Kansas, and I don't know why. Like we're like, what's in Kansas? I'm sure it's a bunch of Amish people. I don't know why. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, but do they still use like doctors, or would they just assume not use that technology to? You know, I have no idea.
Yeah, good question. I don't know, but I know that they can subcontract some Amish out to do some roofs here and there.
Are you serious? You got some of these roofs? That's awesome.
Yeah, they do some good spray foam coatings and stuff like that. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
So let's kind of dive into this whole principle of if your heart is failing you and you have all reason to just be like, why me? Why me? What keeps you kind of still pushing?
You know, I think it garners a lot of respect from, you know, your family, your sales peers, you know, while you're out there, because, you know, at 3 a.m. when I wake up in the morning going, you know, what happened? How did this? Why me? You know, what are my options? You know, yeah, I could go sit on the beach and rot and just watch the ocean, but you know, what kind of lasting impression does that leave on my children? And my family? You know, Shamrock came around. My dad started it. He passed away 2 years ago. I've taken it over, and now I'm running it. You know, I'm here taking care of my mom, the family, the farm, and the sales teams and their families. And so it's heavy as the head that wears the crown type of thing, where, you know, I want to be here to not help my family, only help my family, help the families of these guys and gals that work with Shamrock. So, you know, that's why when I'm out there in the field with them knocking, or, you know, and then they're getting tired, and, you know, you get, some days you're getting doors slammed in your face, some days you're getting told no, some days you can't get turned down at all, and you're getting yes, and it's just high on life, and it just feels so good, you know, and so, but, you know, when you're out there with those guys, it garners respect and loyalty, and they know that, hey, if Garen's going to go that extra mile with me, then I'm going to go that extra mile.
Have you seen a shift or a difference in your sales guys, them knowing you have a heart pump, yet still out hustling them? You know what I mean? Like, as the CEO, it's like he could be working on ops and this and builds and finance and all the other shit you have to do.
Right.
Yet you still get in the field with them, #lead from the front.
Right.
With a freaking heart pump.
Right.
What does that do for the morale of them, I guess?
It motivates them, and it pushes them, and you see an extra percentage, you know, whatever, even if it's 1%, right? But let's say it's more than 1% you're getting out of them. You know, they say the 1% adage, if you can do 1% more, then you're better. These guys are putting out more than 1% from productivity. from that. They're wanting to keep up now because I'm on a heart pump. Like Garen, when you get your new heart, you're going to feel even a whole lot better. You're going to have more blood flow, more circulation. So I'm just out there going through motions, going through systems, and so that's why I'm pushing. And they rise to the occasion, and it's been it brought everybody together. It really did. When it first happened, because it was an acute heart failure deal, you had some people rise to the occasion, you had some people languish without a leader, and some people take advantage. So through this process, we've had a growth curve. I mean, we've had people come out of the industry to come and help. Paul Reed, Anthony Delmonico, a lot of people who come up and help. Graham, so as well. So a good family of people in the industry came to the rescue per se to help, and it's been a blessing to me and to the Shamrock family. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
So when this all went down, you said these guys like Anthony and Paul and some of these guys have been on the show. Graham, all three of those have been on this podcast. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's funny. This is such a small world, but
cream rises to the top.
Yeah. So those guys come in. They say, "Hey, let me support and run your sales," and how did that make you feel in that situation? I guess.
The outpouring of love and respect. It gives me goosebumps still, even today, thinking about it. They come out and then they'll go that extra mile to help. It really, it gives you goosebumps. And talking about paying it forward, I've always been the one paying it forward, giving, starting the Roofs for Heroes. So it's hard to ask for help. I didn't ask for help. They came and offered the help. That's one of the things for the Roofs for Heroes. These heroes that are, quadriplegics or have IEDs blowing their face, they're not the ones that come and ask for help. It's their family members that come and say, "Hey, we'll nominate them for the roof for the hero." So
so it's kind of an interesting principle, and I think this is kind of a thread I want to jam on for a second. You've been doing this foundation, Roof for Heroes. So essentially, tell us a little bit, like in a nutshell, what is that? And then I kind of want to talk about this principle.
Sure. So the Roof for Heroes started out as, my dad started the company. He was in the military, and after he passed away, I took over. I wanted to do something to give back to the military. I've always been a passion of mine to help. Before that, we had the Cars for Heroes. We still have Cars for Heroes, but we gave enough cars away, and we said, okay, we want to do the Roofs for Heroes. So a little bit more expensive product to give away, but that's fine. We're even building houses for heroes. But the Roofs for Heroes, it came about so that every 3 months we nominate a veteran, because once most of these veterans, once they get hurt or whatever, their disability, they're not living in $1 million homes. The money and the paychecks just stop. Eventually they'll get the disability or whatever, and they back pay them. But so where they're living, they don't have someone to come or a way to even finance or help to get a roof. So that's what we just stepped up and said, hey, we're going to provide you a roof. We're going to come up, and so we nominate them, and their family nominates them, because they don't nominate themselves, like I was mentioning earlier. But so that's what the program came about, and we do it once a quarter to help.
That's a lot of money. Like, where do you get the funding, or how does that kind of work?
I self-funded it. I first several I self-funded, and then some people started coming out of the woodwork. So people come out. Owens Corning has come out and said, hey, we're going to help with some material costs. Roof Depot and ABC Supply came out and said, hey, we're going to help with some material costs. And then at that point, I'm solely responsible for the labor aspect of it. So at this point, I've been carrying the cost of it, and it's not for any other reason but to help the community. From that, I mean, there's been a lot of TV, I've been on TV quite a bit because of that. But that was a byproduct of just doing the right thing. And interesting enough, after that happened, you've seen other people kind of come out and kind of start these programs, which is great. I mean, the more veterans that can get help
others,
is awesome. So that's good.
Jim Rohn said, "The fortune is in the follow-up." This is the master of gifting and referrals. My name is Eric Chandler, and at Cutting Edge Gifting, we want to work with you to implement a gifting and follow-up strategy to turn your clients into raving fans so that your clients are your advocates in the community when you're not around, so that you can generate more leads, close more business, and have more repeat clients.
So I think it's interesting. I want to talk to this principle of, I call it the law of reciprocation, in the sense of you did something so impactful to start bringing and drawing attention out of the woodworks, like the Owens Cornings and the Anthonys and the, you know what I mean? And you bring these people out because you did something impactful. You created impact and you made a risk and you said, I'm willing to give back. But then I think the bigger reciprocation not only is the media and the you know, that whole marketing, free marketing essentially, which
right.
I don't know, that probably wasn't your initial motive.
No.
But the bigger piece, I think, is just the simple fact of so many people willing to help you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which is like, I think we never know if we're willing to just give, like, authentically and give without attachment. I think the law of reciprocation always says when we need it'll come back.
I couldn't agree more with that, and that's why when they did come out of the woodwork to help, it was goosebumps. I didn't know how to react to it, you know, because you feel like ungrateful for it, even though you've done so much. It's kind of like a lot of these veterans that we help. You know, when we show up and surprise them,
Yeah.
they don't know what to think. I mean, they're shocked and they're happy, of course. They don't know how to take it. Yeah, you know, thank you. You know, you don't owe us nothing. You know, we thank you for your service, for keeping, you know, us safe back home.
Which is the same thing, law of reciprocation.
Yeah.
They're willing to put their lives on the line.
Yeah.
And, you know, I want to invite people listening to this or watching this to really take a second and ask, like, what are you doing to put out to the universe, you know, good vibes, I guess you'd say, like,
Sure.
the service. What are we doing as individuals on a daily to give back, to, you know, support one another? And, you know, it's kind of the same thing. So Paul's and the Anthony's come and help you. There's a raw law of reciprocation to them. You know, it's the pay it forward. It's the,
Sure.
I'm sure one day if Paul had a heart transplant, you'd probably be like, I'm there, man. Where can I support?
I'd be out there in a minute. And there was a gal out in Colorado Springs who had called me up. She'd been hit by a train, lost her legs, and she's climbing mountains and for causes and giving money back. Well, and so she needed a roof out in Colorado Springs, and I said, hey, Paul, you want to partner up on this? I said, hey, I got it, Garen, not a problem. And then she was just on the Today Show.
That's cool.
Yeah, about, you know, she's climbing Mount Everest and donating money to all these causes, and you know, and here it is. You know, it happened in Paul's backyard. He was able to help her out, and
That's cool.
It's a good mojo all around.
We just had a DDD-Con planning meeting for the conference we're doing in January, and we all decided as a team. We said we don't really care to make money on this conference. Like, it was more like, why don't we take the proceeds and reinvest it into something bigger? Which our cause was actually more the publicity and advocating door to door and bringing a good name to the industry. And I think if we could create more media, create more, you know, documentary or more like getting PR and getting articles and these bigger publications as an industry, it's only going to help support every roofing company, every solar company, every pest control.
What a great cause. I mean, going door to door is an art. It's an art of its own. And for whatever reason, you know, people want to have a stigmatism to it and look, you know, browbeat you. about it, like, oh, you're going door to door. You must not be educated. You must not be it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going door to door because I am educated. This is my own ATM. I get personal interaction with each one of the homeowners I meet. And it's the psychology of it and learning different people, how to deal with different people, finding a common ground with people. But you're right in front of somebody. So if you got that ability to talk to them and make that sale, then you're there. Or educate them on sales. The insurance companies did this big research on who makes the best salespeople, and it's teachers. It's because they educate. So they went out to go hire all the teachers to be salespeople. So when you're there door to door, you're there, yes, because you want to get in front of them, but once you got their attention, then you're educating them.
Yep.
And then at that point, once they're educated, then you're not soliciting per se.
Yeah, you're there just to support them.
Right.
And I think it's funny, I look at all the things sold door to door, and it's like most of them are great services supporting the customer.
Right.
Down to the window cleaning guy, the Kenny Brookses that sold me window cleaning.
Right.
And I'm like, I use the cleaner.
Right.
Like, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you for selling me a good cleaner. I typically just go to Walmart and buy the one that's sitting there.
Right.
Like, they just happen to be smart and get into Walmart and happen to be the contract that, you know what I mean? And
sure.
Like, does that make that a good cleaner? No. Like, it just happened to be the one sitting on the shelf. Like,
right.
And I'm just like, he gave me a good thing, like a vacuum. I'm like wanting a Kirby vacuum. I'm like sitting there, I'm using this piece of shiz like vacuum, and I'm like, somebody come sell me a Kirby, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I just think, but I'm like, I'm not gonna go buy a vac. I don't know. Like, I think people don't see door to door in the same light because they're afraid of getting sold. When it's like, just let yourself get sold as long as it's a good service or product. It probably will benefit you.
Right. I agree. A lot of, going back to the stigmatism, I have guys that are great salespeople, but, they went to a private, school and he, doesn't want to go knock these neighborhoods.
Oh, yeah. I don't want our dad to say that I knocked neighbor doors. Yeah. I don't want to tell him, like.
Yeah, but you made over $200,000. Why not? What's going on here? But you'll go take less money so that you don't knock doors?
I had this conversation with my buddy. I would be better off saying I worked at Amazon than being the owner of a door-to-door company. I'm a CEO of a roofing company. Oh, you work at Amazon? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's like, oh yeah, that's cool. You work at Apple? Like, man, like that's really cool. You work at Apple. But I'm like, yeah, you work at Apple making $60,000 a year.
Right.
I knock doors, make $200,000.
Right.
But for some reason, you're cooler in society because you work for Apple.
Right.
Like, what?
Right. So so to the point of going back and putting the emphasis on the door and that taking that money from the conference to that, I think that's a great cause. The door to door is great, and once these people see these no soliciting signs on their doors or whatever that was stuck on there by the previous homeowner, they leave it on there. But as soon as you knock on the door, they're like, oh yeah, come on in,
Yeah.
And then you're educating them / selling them your product or service or what they need, and you're in.
Love that. So let's kind of fast forward a little bit. Let's get into the sales and the educating and the actual nuts and bolts of selling, roofs or, just your sales cycle. So let's start with what is your flow in the home? I guess I care more about the in the home stuff. I get a lot of stuff on the door stuff, but this one I kind of want to dive a little bit more into okay, you got in-house, you're here to present them your roof, and
right.
What's kind of your steps?
Well, at that point, once you're already been on the roof, they've already let them know there's been damage or the roof is just in need of repair. At that point, you're at the kitchen table. They want to sit on the couch or whatever. Well, let's sit at the kitchen table so that way we can go ahead and pull out that pad and your brochure, the agreements, not contracts, and your pin. So it's laid out there and you're sitting right next to each other, so you can sit there and go through those steps. of ABC, what it's going to take to do the full roof replacement. Whether it's, hey, we're going to handle it from A to Z. We're going to be, material is going to be dropped on Wednesday. We'll be backing up the trailer on Thursday. It's on wheels. It's not a dumpster. It's not going to sit on your driveway and crack your driveway. We're going to protect all your plants and your bushes. We're going to cover them up with tarps. So educating them about that. The guys are going to show up with the sun, bright and early when the sun rises. And then they're just going to start tearing off your roofs with pitchforks down to the decking. We'll replace all the decking. If there's any rotting decking, we'll replace those. And then going back with your roofing system, whatever roofing system that is, whether it's Owen Corning, GAF, or Certainty. So, at that point, you're just basically it's not assumptive, but you're educating them, telling them the process of what to expect. So level set their expectations, so they know. I take for granted and assume a lot because I'm doing multiple builds day in and day out that these homeowner is going to know that. So I kind of have a checklist right there. Here's what's going to step 1, step 2, step 3 of that process, just so their expectation levels are set, so that I don't forget a step. Because sometimes you may forget, and then they'll ask questions. Which questions are great because that you can overcome questions objectives. So that's kind of the process that I go through. So once I get in there, I start explaining to them how it's going to happen.
Yeah, kind of letting them. Here's the process. Here's what's about to happen.
Correct.
It's kind of setting the frame of here's the steps.
Correct. And then let them know that A, it's going to be messy, but B, we're going to clean it up, so it's going to look just as good as it did before your roof got on there, except you're going to have a brand new roof. Cool. And so yeah.
Then what? What do you do?
And then after that, it's basically here's the agreement. They usually, at that point they're signing up. You're already been on the roof. You're already going through the process. They're basically color picking what type of shingles, or you want to go back with like kind, what you have there? Yes, okay, great. And then it's just you're filling, the paperwork's being filled out as you're talking to them about explaining the process to them. Cool. So they're seeing the pin in action. They see me working the pin. So
I think that's something important to talk on. You're already filling out the contract before you get a yes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Let's just start putting your name on here. Let's just start putting your color type.
Right.
Let's just start putting your address and, just start doing it. So the natural progression is when you go, oh, now it's your turn.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And there you're up, and then they're signing it, and then when is it? And it's scheduling. I got a wedding coming up, or I've got graduation, and people are going to be coming over, or it's can you work around these days? Absolutely. So it's the scheduling at that point, and then you're in. So
cool. So let's go through. I want to go through some objections.
Okay.
I'm a big customer. Let's do this. So we're gonna go work through, because you get still objections, right? People object to buying right then and there, right?
Right.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna play. I'm gonna play. Okay, I want to think about it. So
Okay.
this is the objection. And in any sales organization, I don't care if you're selling satellite, roofs, whatever, right? Okay. So the first objection is I want to think about it. What do you typically say? I'm curious.
Yeah, if you want to think about it, that's great. In the meantime, you're still going to need a new roof. Think about what are we thinking about? Are you thinking about you need a new roof? You're thinking about what roofer you need? What are you looking for in a roofer?
Boom. There's the question. So the question is, what are you, if you were to think, what are you going to think about?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Let's think.
Okay.
Think with me.
Yeah.
It's is it the roof? Is it the company? Is it the price? Is it the...
Right.
And then I'm going to typically say, so I'm customer, so I'm going to say, I just want to maybe get a couple bids. I just don't want to make any quick decisions before I just, go put a $20,000 roof on my house. I want to make sure that I'm getting the right roof and the right price.
And the right price and the right roof is, we want to make sure that we're comparing apples to apples. When you get someone else, or we want to, what are we comparing? Someone else may not come back and with the same quality of shingles or the same, service. So what you want to get 3 bids. If it's an insurance situation, then the insurance is stating, here's how much money we're going to give you. So if you're you need a heart, and the insurance is going to pay for your heart, am I going to go and shop 3 heart doctors? I'm going to go with the best, right? So hey, I'm going to go with the best heart. So I'm down here at KU Med getting the best heart treatment there is. So wouldn't you want to go with the best roofers? So that's pretty much.
I love that. And then transition them to something else. Just start saying, so what color shingles do you want?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Cool. I like that. Because I think, okay, so let's go retail. And I think that's a perfect way to overcome it's like, it's insurance. They're paying. Like, what do you mean? It's just go with somebody you can trust that's good.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So do you guys do you do much retail? I'm curious.
We do, I would say, 15%.
So very small. So let's scratch that.
Yeah.
So, okay, so let's do another objection. I've already talked to a roofer. He's a friend of mine. He'll probably end up doing it. I already have family in the business.
A chuck in a truck is great, but can he provide the quality of service? Is he going to be there for any warranty issues? Does he know the insurance process? Will he be able to get the most value or the most amount of fair settlement with the insurance company? We work with insurance companies, day in on a regular basis. So, if there's a supplement, and a lot of times there's errors on your insurance paperwork, it's kind of like your credit score. You always check your credit score and make sure there's no errors. Well, these adjusters, they fly in. They're not registered. They don't have to be registered in the state of Kansas or Missouri. So they're writing their estimate out of their car, truck, and on the fly because they got 10 more to go adjust. They're missing line items. Just simple as that. So when we come back in to fix this roof, we're going to put a proper roof on. We're not going to stop because they didn't have a line item in there. We're going to put it in, if they need flashing or whatever that wasn't put in the line item, we're going to put it on their roof for them and then go back and supplement the insurance company later. So that way we can get, the homeowner can get the proper roof, and the chuck in the truck, the family friend swinging a hammer might not know to do that.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of things when dealing with insurance specific, that maybe the family friend who's just,
he can install a roof, which is fair.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean he's going to get you as much money out of the insurance. What do you care more about? More money or just having a buddy do it?
A quality roof.
Yeah, a better roof.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like that. I think, at that point it squashes the whole, it's an educating thing. It's like, let's be honest. Like, I could call your insurance company right now knowing nothing, and they're going to give you 20 grand. I could call your insurance company knowing a lot, knowing how to play the game, and get you 30.
And provide you a better roof.
And provide you a better roof.
Right. Because you have a 40-year shingle on your roof, and they're going to write you up for a 30-year shingle. Well, when a 40-year shingle, they can't downgrade you; they got to upgrade you. So now you can get a deluxe shingle, a higher shingle.
Yeah.
So, whereas the guy, his family friend,
they just put on any other shingle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think showing you're the expert in the field, and showing that it's like, this is what I do. I literally do insurance work. It's like, I'm not just a roofer, I'm an insurance worker.
Right.
And I think helping them understand that that's your expertise shows this way of overcoming that objection.
Right.
Okay, let's move on to new objection.
Okay.
This objection will be, honestly, I just can't afford that $1,000 deductible right now. Maybe in a couple months. I've got to put my finances together. It's just $1,000, dude. It's gonna kind of break the bank for me.
That's fair enough. I understand that. And there's ways that we can work with you on that. We have financing available to where you can finance the entire amount of roof, and then at that point, if it's a $10,000 roof, just to keep that simple, you would receive $9,000 from your insurance. So if you finance it, then you're still keeping that $9,000, and then you're making that finance payment. That's one way. to do it, right?
That's
so
you just gave me $9,000.
I just gave you
Oh,
9,000.
I like that. Okay, cool.
So that's one way.
Okay, different alternative way to overcome that one.
Right. The other way, of course, I mean, is they can use their ACV money that's their money. If they don't, they replace the roof, but they say they don't want to replace their gutters. That ACV money, they can then offset the deductible, the $1,000, if they wanted to do that.
So ACV money, go a little bit more into that. I
Okay,
don't know
so-
much about how that works.
Okay, so
okay.
in the insurance world, it comes in 2 checks. Just keep that simple. We're doing $10,000, and let's say the first check they gave you was $7,000 check. That's your actual cash value of the damage based upon the age of the roof, right?
Yeah.
The other remaining amount, they call it depreciation, but it's nothing more than a holdback. Once you complete the work, they'll send the depreciation. We send off a letter of completion off to the insurance company, and then they release the depreciation to the homeowner. So then they'll get that full amount of money. So, but if they don't do a trade, maybe they don't want to do their window screens, or they don't want to do their gutters. That ACV money is their money to do whatever way they want with. They want to go to the boat and gamble with it, they could.
How much is it
wise?
usually?
It really depends on the age of the roof. I mean,
Okay.
it could be if it's a 30-year roof and it's been on there 15 years, and then it's in a $10,000 roof, they'd give you $5,000. So it really they depreciate it off age. The software system they use, Xactimate, we use it, we all use it to stay on the level playing field. It has in there what everything is depreciated by, what type of shingles or gutters or whatever it is.
Cool. No, that's awesome, and I think a lot of maybe new guys would never even know you could leverage that.
Right.
Okay, so let's just say I want to use my ACV money for what it's for.
Right.
How would you overcome? I mean, is there any other way that you would overcome that?
$1,000. I mean, you finance $1,000, the ACV $1,000. I mean, you have to pay the deductible. I mean,
Just kind of the straight up way. It's like,
Yeah.
you got to pay it.
No. I mean, yeah. It's they know. I mean, you're paying $1,000 for a $10,000 roof. So yeah. I mean, it has to be paid. I mean, there's guys that go around there and waive deductibles. I mean, some states you can do that. Kansas is not one of them. So you by law you have to pay the deductible.
Yeah.
And so some people, threaten them. Oh, by legally you have to. I'm legally bound. If the guy is down the street says you don't have to pay the deductible, he's committing fraud. And then you're scaring them. I don't do that. I don't like that tactic because but a lot of people do that. I mean, they'll carry around the statute and say, well, here it is.
In statute XYZ, it says by law you have to pay. If I pay, I'm committing insurance fraud. Therefore, I'm not going to be put in that spot.
I'm not. You're me insurance fraud. I'm involved. You're involved. Everyone's involved. And I'm not going to be involved. Yeah,
that's cool. And I think that is I think that's a resort to fall back on at one point, and certain customers may resonate with that.
Right.
But it's another alternative, and I think. Yeah, there's just some ammo. Basically, in the podcast, I like to give people actual ammunition.
Well, that's ammunition.
I mean, it's like use it. Like here you go.
Yeah, that's the bazooka there. I mean, there's the statute right there. You got to pay it.
Yeah. No, I love.
So I'm trying to help you finesse around that, so that it can be smoother.
Yep.
So yeah,
I love that. Okay, so let's kind of shift gears. So if you had to give one piece of advice to the door-to-door space, what advice would you give them?
Persistence. Keep knocking. When each no is one step closer to the yes, goal setting is key. And then once you realize this is your own ATM, and you find that passion and you see these happy customers and you become friends with a lot of these people that you meet, and that is positive reinforcement that keeps you going through the no's and the the doors shut in your face. So it's all of those positives that keep you going and get you pumped. I mean, knocking is my favorite part of all the hats that I wear. it's not 5:45 in the morning moving. We're backing up trailers or handling the finances and the supply houses or all that jazz that I deal with.
And
or
I think
inspections, it's knocking because you're there.
But
the
I want
psychology of this.
I want to speak to that. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, they fantasize about the CEO role, and they fantasize about, like, I want to run a business because it sounds cool on paper. It sounds cooler being CEO than door knocker.
Right.
But I think a lot of people don't appreciate enough that aspect of the business.
Right.
And I think once you play both sides, you're kind of like, man, I just wish I could just knock all day and that's it. Like,
That's all I want to do.
You know what
if
I
I could
mean?
have someone take my spot, I would. I mean,
yeah.
my cards, when they have them made, I have them made up. I'm project manager. I don't want them to know I own the company when I'm at the door, because then they think they'll get everything for free. Anyway, and plus, I like being out in the field. It's fun. That's what's fun. And so my guys think I'm crazy because I'm out there with them. Come on, guys.
No, it's important. It's important.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, that's great advice, dude. And I think a lot of people need to take that to heart. I really do. Well, dude, I've honestly appreciated you being on the show. Like, I hope to see you in January at Door to Door Con.
Yeah, absolutely.
Come out.
Yeah,
Sure,
man.
bring the team.
If I got the heart in, I'm free. Yeah.
Oh, you probably can't travel much.
Well,
you need to be here.
Well, I think I'm free to roam about the cabin as soon as a couple biopsies after the heart's been put in. But yeah,
okay.
I should have it by October. Keep your fingers crossed.
So January 10th, I hope you come.
Yeah,
and
love to be there.
Love to see you again. So
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Well, thank you. It's been great.